Hello, I am Dave from Alpha Clean, and my goal today is to make your job as easy as possible. What we have here today is the 43B20 floor scrubber. Very compact scrubber that we have in our range. It's a 24-volt battery machine. This machine is commonly used in applications like small workshops, some of your aged care facilities, small shopping centres like your small supermarket stores. So we've got two tanks obviously. We've got our wastewater tank, which is on the top of the machine here, and then down in the base of the machine we've got our clean water. So this machine has got a cleaning path of 43 centimetre and a solution tank of 20 litres. So being battery operated, this machine has a built-in charger. So we've got our lead wound up at the back of the machine here, so the charger is built into the machine. It just runs off a standard 10 amp power point. What you'll notice is we've got a series of lights here. So when charging the machine, these lights here will tell us as far as when the batteries are fully charged. We've got one light here which is a hazard light. It's a red in colour. It'll shine red, basically telling us there's an error, so therefore the machine's not charging. If that's the case, you do need to notify Alpha Clean, but otherwise it'll go through the process and charge it up to a green light. This machine will give you a run time around that 2 to 3 hours, obviously depending on what your sort of surface you're working on, and then you're talking a charge cycle of somewhere between that 5 to 6 hours. But generally we recommend charging it overnight, so it's an overnight charge. These chargers work on a trickle feed, so they'll just slowly charge the batteries, and then the charger will turn itself off once the battery is fully charged. So that means it can be left on overnight. We've got our water control here for adding extra water onto the floor, so it's controlled manually. You'll notice here we've got two circuit breakers. These are if the machine overloads. For example, if we're trying to clean a harsh floor without any water or solution, it'll load the machine up and trigger off a circuit breaker. So these are a reset circuit breaker. So if for some reason your suction motor's not working or your brush motor's not working, this would be the first place you'd check. Then we come down to our squeegee. So this squeegee can be raised and lowered manually. So I'd like to go through this squeegee with you because this is a wear item. This can be easily removed by undoing these two handles, removing the hose. That squeegee can come off. As you'll notice, we run a very heavy duty squeegee on this machine. It is quite heavy in weight. The reason for this is that it'll never twist, therefore it'll always maintain an extremely dry floor. So the key to having a dry floor with a suction scrubber is to basically maintain and keep an eye on these rubber squeegees here. So over time these will wear. The beauty of this squeegee rubber is that we do get 4 edges to it. So as this edge wears, we can end for end it and run the other edge, and then we can flip it upside down. So you will get plenty of warning as to when you need to replace these sets of squeegees. Now, we do have a few different options available. We do have what we call an oil-pregnated squeegee or an oil-resistant squeegee. Therefore, if you're using this machine in a workshop with oils and different materials, these rubbers can wrinkle up. So therefore, you need to go to a oil-resistant squeegee. For the clean water, clean solution, this here will give you an indication as to how much clean water we've got in the machine. So as you fill the water up from the front, this ball float will come up showing you how much water you've got. Your clean water can also be emptied by removing this cap and emptying out your clean water. To empty the dirty water out of the machine is simply by removing this hose, undoing the cap and emptying out the dirty water. So this here is another service item, which is our filter for our clean water. So any clean water and along with your chemical will run through this filter. So this is something that will have to be checked and cleaned regularly. It can be easily removed, unscrew it, and you'll find there's just a little gauze filter there that can be rinsed under a tap, cleaned, and then put back into position. One thing you'll notice with this machine is the bump rails on the machine. This is what allows you to get right up to the edges and run up against a wall without marking the wall. So for compact storage, ease of operation and to make it more comfortable for the operator, this handle can be adjusted. That's simply by pulling this lever and this handle can be adjusted whether you want it down low or up high or round to this position for storage. So to operate this machine, you'll find it extremely easy, very simple. We've got a couple of switches. We've got one for our vacuum, as you'll notice by the symbol. On is our vacuum on. Now what you'll notice with this light, once the machine is operating, you've got the indicator. This is our battery indicator light. So green is fully charged, then it goes to orange, and then it goes to red. Now what I want to make clear is that the orange light is not a halfway mark. It is like your fuel light in your car. So when your orange light comes on, it's really saying finish what you're doing and then get the machine charged up. Our other button here is for our brush operation, so brush on. Now even though our switch is on, the brush will not operate until we pull our handle. So the minute I let go of the handle, let go of the machine, the brush will stop. This will reduce leaving any ring marks in your floors. Therefore, if the operator lets go of the machine, that brush will stop. Now to drop off the brush on this machine, it's quite a unique little system, very easy for the operator, because this is something we recommend you do at the end of each use. So to remove the brush, very straightforward, we tilt the machine back. We've got a little button here which we hold down. Then we activate our brush button and the brush will just drop off. So then the brush can be then removed just by pulling it out from underneath the machine. Now please note we have a series of different brushes. This is our standard brush. We have a softer brush, we also have a harder brush, and we also then have your pad holder, which can run a range of different pads. Now as you can see, very easy to remove, and we would recommend you do this at the end of each use, because you never know what may get caught up in your pad holder, what may get caught up in your brush, and this could damage your floor if you continue using it. So then to put our brush back on the machine, because as you can see it's got a very unique pickup system. It's just a matter of sliding it under the machine. Now it can be put on in two different ways. It can be put on manually, by putting it on the machine and turning it and taking it off, or we can sit the machine on the floor. Then we can lower the machine onto the brush, and by activating the brush, the brush will then hook into position. Then what we would also recommend you to do is remove our top cap and then hose out the tank to get rid of any dirty water. This will stop the container from smelling and just keep your machine basically nice and healthy. So to remove this cap here, we've got two hoses. We just remove these two hoses. We've got our clip here, which we undo this clip. Now this cap will remove. So you've got full access. We can run our hose through to clean that tank out. Now what I want to make clear here is we've got a ball float inside this tank. Now this we need to keep an eye on. We need to keep this filter element here clean, because over time this can get built up with a lot of fluff and dirt, and this will reduce the suction. Therefore you won't get a dry floor. We also need to keep this seal quite clean, because if this seal doesn't seal properly on the machine, you will lack in suction also. But what I want to make clear is that with your machine, we want to reduce the amount of foaming you have inside your tank. Now this can be by reducing the amount of chemical or changing the type of chemical you use. We recommend you use a low foaming chemical, because what can happen is as our water comes up, it's going to pick this ball up and block off our suction. Now if we have too much foam, the water level will be low, but the foam is not heavy enough to pick up the ball. Therefore that foam will get into your suction motor and will end up destroying your suction motor due to moisture, and your bearings will fail. Now please note, if this does happen, it will not be covered under warranty. So we recommend you keep an eye open, try and make sure you have as little amount of foam happening inside your tank as possible. Any questions on this, please don't hesitate to contact us and we can discuss this further. But we recommend you try and keep this clean. Another good thing we recommend you to do is to, at the end of the use, we recommend you turn your vac motor on. Now this can be done whether this is the lid's off or whatever. We can run our vacuum motor. Let that vacuum motor run for 30 seconds just to burn out any moisture that may have got into that vacuum motor. As you can see, this is a very compact machine, very easy to use, very simple in its operation. I do hope this video is successful in view of helping you maintain and operate your machine. If you have any further questions, please contact Alpha Clean.